Close enough. Castlevania, one of the most iconic and longest-running franchises in gaming history. Starting out on the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1986 and still pumping out games to this day. While normally a two-dimensional side-scroller, Castlevania ventured into the third dimension in 1999 with Castlevania for the Nintendo 64. Castlevania for the Nintendo 64 was developed by Konami and released in North America on January 26, 1999, 3 days after my 6th birthday. Castlevania 64 was released after arguably the two biggest games in the franchise, Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo and Symphony of the Night for the original PlayStation, so a lot of pressure was on Konami to deliver another classic. Did they deliver? Well, if you know this game at all, you can probably guess, but more on that in a bit. The game takes place in 1852 and stars two playable characters, Carrie Fernandez, an orphan with magic powers, and Reinhard Schneider, the whip-wielding heir to the Belmont family. Count Dracula has awoken after nearly 60 years in a forced slumber, and our two heroes set out to his castle in Transylvania in order to vanquish him once and for all. Along the way, you'll fight through hordes of undead minions and many classic monsters such as vampires, chainsaw-revving Frankensteins, and even skeleton biker gangs. Wait, but bikers? We're just gonna ignore that there's skeletons on motorcycles and the game takes place in 1852 when motorcycles didn't exist? Alright, I guess we're rolling with it, whatever. The Castlevania series is known for its platforming and action-packed gameplay, and the N64 iteration is no exception. Carrie and Reinhardt's main attacks are homing energy balls and a long-range whip, respectively. You're also able to find power-ups which give you long-range weapons such as daggers, crosses, and holy water. The game features a day and night mechanic, which is very important to gameplay. Certain NPCs, items, and platforms only appear during certain times of the day. Thankfully, you don't have to wait around very much for time to pass because you're able to collect sun and moon cards, which change the time of day to sunrise and sunset. The day-to-night mechanic also tracks how many days pass in the game. If it takes you 16 or more in-game days to reach the castle keep, without spoiling anything, let's just say the game's ending is drastically different. There's many moments of platforming in this game, and most of them are incredibly challenging due to the clunky controls and frustrating camera. Unfortunately, save points are few and far between, so you'll have to start all over if you die. The game was originally going to have 4 playable characters. However, 2 characters were dropped from the game in favor of speeding production. Remnants of one of these characters can be found in the maze, and is in fact the Chainsaw Frankenstein. This character was going to be named Collar, and his main weapon in the game was going to be a shotgun. Later in November of that same year, Konami released a prequel/expansion to the game called Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. Legacy of Darkness was mostly a remake featuring improved graphics, new villains, and alternate levels. But it also came with a prequel story set in 1844 and featured a werewolf named Cornell who sets out to prevent his sister from being used as a sacrifice to resurrect Dracula. While Castlevania 64 had many great moments, it's unfortunately plagued with subpar controls and a frustrating camera. In retrospect, Castlevania 64 had the potential to stand toe-to-toe with some of the best games in the franchise, but could never find its footing and is one of the more forgettable entries in this classic series. Thanks for watching NRetroSpook. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe for new videos every week. And let me know in the comments what game you want to see next. My name's Cody, and I'll see you next time.